And here we are at Axpona 2018, the grand exhibit. This is the premier exhibit here at the show this year by the audio company, von Schweikert Audio, and VAC, Valve Amplification, and we will go into more brands as we discuss the components. So I'd like to start over to my right.
Leif Swanson, von Schweikert Audio.
Kevin Hayes, VAC.
Keith Sequeira, the audio company.
Well, let's start over with Leif. Leif, can you tell us about the speakers and the cables?
Well, you know, we've done several shows with the Ultra 11s, and each show we've done a video, and we've done a run through of the speaker, so this would probably seem a little bit redundant, but it's not. This is an entirely new Ultra 11 speaker. It's been completely redesigned. We've been waiting for quite some time for a new mid-range driver under development by Axpona. And to incorporate this new mid-range driver into the speaker required a complete crossover redesign. Other than that, everything, the cabinet's the same, everything else is the same, still two 15-inch subwoofers on the back, same woofers, beryllium tweeters, and the hybrid ribbon tweeters. But the new mid-ranges, we literally have less than half of the distortion of the original mid-range that was in the Ultra 11, which was one of the lowest distortion transducers that was available. So we're really, really happy with it. The only other real change that we made was we extended the frequency response of the rear ambient drivers. So we're now letting those go all the way down to 2,000 hertz.
And it's a beautiful finish. What color do you call that?
This is the Atlantic blue.
Well, it is spectacular here. It films very well. And as we just saw from the back of the unit, you saw the new drive unit, and very similar to the other shots that we did. You'll see here the beautiful cabling. Can you tell us about the cables, please?
Well, as in the same as the Ultra 11, we use the Masterbuilt Ultra internal wiring. And so throughout the rest of the system, we're using Masterbuilt top-of-the-line audio cables, and that's the Ultra.
Well, it's a beautiful loom, and it's just striking to behold, even from looking as we are now from the back of it. It's just total eye candy. Well, good. Well, thank you very much, Leif. And Kevin, could you please tell us about the electronics?
Indeed I can. We have here 4 of the VAC Statement 450 IQ power amplifiers. These are our flagship amplifiers. They deliver 450 watts apiece from the KT88 beam power tubes. And they feature our patented IQ biasing system, which may be familiar to people from some of the prior videos. It's really a unique way that the amplifier can see and hold steady the true underlying idle point of the tube, even though music is playing. And it provides an unvarying foundation for the music that makes more detail, life, nuance possible. It's as if in your car the tire pressure management system could see the cold inflation pressure of your tire no matter how fast and how hard you were driving, and keep the cold inflation pressure steady. These are currently running in the balanced configuration. They can also run in a single-ended input mode, but when they're running balanced, they are inherently balanced from input to output the entire way through. And as you know from prior videos, they have a decoupling suspension system between the power supply and the audio chassis. And then over here, we have preamplifiers. Over here, we have a J-Quarter modified Technics 1520, one of the finest tape transports that has ever been devised. And then the heart of the control of the system is the VAC Statement line stage. Again, familiar perhaps to viewers of prior videos. Just an absolutely amazing piece. The beautiful clear glass top lets you see into the mass loading stage, the decoupled floating stage that contains the actual audio tube circuit, pure class A1 triode, fully balanced circuit with the massive 2.5-pound brass volume control motorized by a special drive system of our own production. And here, the Statement phono stage, which I still think may be one of the finest, most incredible things we've ever made. Just brings music back to life in a way that you never thought was in the vinyl ever before. Adjustable for, has 4 inputs, can be adjusted to moving magnet or 2 different moving coil games, fully adjustable loading, and again, inside under the glass top cover, you can see the mass loading stage, the shielding covers for the various transformer systems, and all this sits on top of this wonderful mechanical foundation of critical mass systems racks. And for that, I'd like Keith Sequeira from the audio company to tell more.
And I see also, before we have Keith come into the shot, I see a Kronos limited edition Pro turntable with the SPCS, which is the supercapacitor power supply. We also have a carbon fiber arm board on here. That's a Black Beauty arm, and we're running an Opus 1 cartridge. Just a fantastic analog front end. Keith, tell us a little bit about the Esoteric units and the rest of the system we have here.
Well, as Kevin pointed out, we've got all the system on the critical mass Maxim racks, which happen to be some of the finest racking systems we can get. And we found that using a good rack does produce a better sound, more transparent, more depth, great sound stage. So we started off with that. And then for our digital front ends, we've gone into the Esoterics. And we've got, in Esoteric, we've got the N01, which is a screamer and has its own DAC built in. And then we've got the P1 Grandiose Transport, which has its own power supply. And that has also the 2 mono DACs, the left DAC and the right DAC, which control the P1. And, well, actually, the clock controls the P1, which is the G1 clock. It's also a Grandiose clock, a rubidium clock, which is outputting 10 megahertz signals, which has a big improvement in the sound quality. So that's what we found at the audio company is you start off with a good racking system, then you get a great digital front end, and then you get the finest in preamplification with VAC, and in the analog we've started using the Kronos turntable, which happens to be one of the finest tables that I've ever heard, and the Opus 1 cartridge, you can't say enough about it. And then powering all of this is, like Kevin said, was the 450 IQs. And in my opinion, and a lot of other people's, it's the best amplification you can get. And then we always get to hear stuff, and that's on the Ultra 11s, which I think is a breakthrough. It's a absolute breakthrough. I've never heard anything like that. But it takes all these components to make it sound very good, because it's a very revealing speaker. So if you have any component in the system that's not good, it's going to show the flaws of the system. So I think putting all this together makes the sound as incredible as it is.
Well, thank you very much. You have a wonderful facility down in Marietta, Georgia. You have a team here behind me. Keith from the audio company, I'd like to ask, can we do some listening next?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, let's do that right now, viewers. It's the best part of the video. Here we go.
are the stars which sing. We sing with our light. We are the birds of fire. We fly over the sky. is a voice. We make a road for the spirits to pass over. For the spirits to pass over. We are like the wind, wrapped in luminous wings. We make a road for the spirit to pass over, for the spirit to pass over.
Dead Can Dance, the band, Song of the Stars, the track. You've heard it across the Axpona shows. We talked about it in Reviewer's View. Now you got to hear it, and it was awesome. Leif, this has a little bit more resolution than the pair we heard at the Capitol Audio Fest. What exactly was that change again?
We changed the mid-range drivers, and they're, the whole purpose and goal in designing the Ultra flagship line was to remove as much distortion as possible, lower that distortion level. And there was nothing wrong with the mid-range driver in the original Ultra 11, except this new mid-range has just a small fraction of the distortion of what the original one had. So, you know, that's what our quest was, so that's what we changed, which required the whole crossover redesign, and, you know, but we can't have any of that without all of this and
That's right.
all of the
That's right.
electronics.
That's
and-
right.
Did the redesign change the efficiency at all?
It did. We actually, we went from 92 to 95 dB.
Well, that's a huge
Wow.
change. Hey, you know, should have been in the beginning of the video. That's a big darn change, because then that makes it easier for your amps to have a handshake with a loudspeaker.
Well, no, I just love working with these guys because we have this shared passion for trying to get the breath of life back in the music, to get the emotion, the nuance. It's great to have all the hi-fi attributes present in a system, and you need them. But they have to be there in a way which is completely subservient to and in service of the music. When you hear the system, you don't first say, wow, that treble is fast, or wow, that bass is well controlled. You say, listen to that sax player. Listen to that guy working those cymbals. You listen to the music, and then when you want to, you begin to think back to what brought it to life, what made it magic and not just a hi-fi sound. And it's all these bits of attention to detail that Leif does with the speakers and the crossovers, the way we design and lay out the amplifiers, the thousands of hours we spend voicing them, doing things you can't measure but can hear so readily to get the recipe just right to bring the music back to life.
Yeah, and then it's up
and
to
then
Keith.
people like Keith.
Keith, the portfolio manager. Yeah.
Keith's job is to put together things in ways that marry and are harmonious. It's like you're making a pot of chili. You got to put just the right ingredients in the right proportion. He finds great racks like Bill Verklich's Critical Mass Systems racks and brings them to the party, and they make things just, well, you can tell more than I can.
Yeah, they just, my job's really easy. Working with everybody here has made our job at the audio company a piece of cake, because Kevin and Leif and Damon are so easy to work with, and Keith and Scott at Esoteric, same thing, and Joe at Critical Mass. They're so easy to work with, so it just makes my job very easy. All I've got to do is get all these components together, and because they're such great individuals, such great human beings, we get along so well together. It makes my job real easy, and it also helps that they're the finest products in the world, period, in two-channel audio. So,
Folks, I second that, and I'd like to give a big thumbs up to the sound in this room, a big thumbs up to the team here today. So thumbs up to great audio. You guys make it happen, and I'm proud to report on it. So Peter Bruninger and team from the audio company, Valve Amplification Company, and Ben Schweikert. And
The audio company.
It's really esoteric. We have the whole crew here, Critical Mass, Kronos, J-Quarter, Masterbuilt cables. Whoa, ball out of park. There it goes. Anyway, thanks for viewing. We had fun making this video. I hope you had fun watching it. See you, viewers. Bye.
bye.